At Thursday at 2, we heard, if you're staying, write your social security number on your arm. That was really hard to hear.
Here's the Oso Pier, or what was the Oso Pier.
You know, we saw the DPS coming in, and I looked off in the distance. They're driving up, and tears came to my eyes. I realized John Wayne's just pulled up.
Hurt, distraught, don't know what to do.
I'm going to get emotional during this. It was awful.
The idea of giving up on Rockport Fulton and leaving never entered our minds.
There's so much that Harvey took away that is going to take years and years for us to rebuild. Not just our life, not just the scars that we wear. It's our house, it's our home.
1 year. It has been 1 year exactly since Hurricane Harvey hit. At the same time, on the same day in 2017, we were all watching as the rain and winds began to build as Hurricane Harvey strengthened and headed right toward the coastal bend. It was something a week prior no one ever thought would happen. After it did, it left a path of destruction from the Texas coast through southeast Texas, making headlines and devastating towns. Tonight, we bring you Hurricane Harvey 1 year later.
Start with the eye of the hurricane.
A forecast for the ages.
You can clearly see it, it's in red.
But one no one expected it to be. On Sunday, August 13th, meteorologists saw a tropical wave off the African coast crossing the Atlantic. On Thursday, August 17th, it became a tropical storm in the Atlantic, but disorganized on August 19th and then re-strengthened on August 23rd as a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. No need to worry, right? But 3 News Chief Meteorologist Bill Vesey says something still just didn't feel right.
I told people on Friday, nothing to worry about. And I told people on Monday, man, this could be bad. Turned out to be.
By Wednesday, August 23rd, the storm had become a tropical depression.
Couldn't believe it, and strengthening. Thought it was gone.
Then came the next 48 hours.
From a tropical storm to a major hurricane in 40 hours.
I'd have to say Harvey was just a unique animal.
120 miles per hour, but look at the gusts.
The rush to prepare started.
My husband called me at work today and said they're expecting a stronger storm than what we thought.
The most sought after item? Water, of course.
I think it'll probably be about 14 to 16 cases.
Then the scramble to evacuate came.
All the advice we can give is get out now. You still have time to leave. Those that are going to stay, it's unfortunate, but they should make some type of preparation to mark their arm with a Sharpie pen, put their Social Security number on it and their name.
Hurricane Harvey, right now a Category 1 hurricane.
A hurricane named Harvey was barreling toward the Texas coast.
I'm just going to hold on to this pole because it is getting so windy out here.
It came in as a Category 3 as the day waned.
So that bit, okay, we're hearing other parts of the building, it sounds like maybe cracking while we're out here.
You can feel that. You can feel that in your chest. It's pushing me over right now.
Then it developed into a Category 4 right before night fell, making landfall in the coastal bend.
And this is going to be, unfortunately, a sluggishly nasty situation.
And we're all freaking out in here because we heard.
Right.
We're starting to rock and roll up here.
Yeah, the station is shaking. Could hear it getting worse.
It's getting worse.
Within the hour.
Look at the panels.
And the worst is about to move ashore.
Meteorologists, anchors, and reporters continued to broadcast throughout the day and night.
The rain is still going to continue.
We save lives.
As people watched updates from reporters, including myself, from across the state.
We had to come out here to show the conditions for our live shots for various stations across the country. And it was just too dangerous to go outside. We just didn't feel like we could. This car is rocking.
If you don't need to be outside, don't go outside. Yesterday I was on the beach getting pelted by sand. Today, it's just wind. And I'm constantly looking up trying to see if there's a tree branch because we saw those everywhere.
We are waiting for daylight, of course, to see the extent of the damage, to be able to get out and look and see what the first responders are seeing.
We've got a full day of work ahead for all of us here, and we hope that you are able to feel comfortable with us staying home and letting us bring you information and the latest news as far as what's happening in our community.
Yes, a long Saturday on August 26th it would be. A long day that would turn into a long week and a long month and a long year. One that came with challenges and triumphs. But first, everyone would have to wake up on August 27th to venture out for the first time in Hurricane Harvey. It was more than emotional for the people who stayed and even the people who evacuated. Not easy to clean up the debris and deal with the outages, even harder to handle all of the emotions surrounding it.
Thought this is it, and we made it.
A kiss. A kiss that meant so much to this couple. A kiss of joy and sadness, relief and anxiety, hope and dread. So many emotions as we all looked at the destruction in towns like Port Aransas.
Hurt, distraught, don't know what to do.
Power lines dangling from the poles, streetlights hanging just feet from the road, boats sitting on land after washing up on shore, and buildings, businesses and homes laying shattered on the ground.
I was wondering how bad it was going to be. It's pretty tore up. Yeah, the whole place is.
The whole place. So many things. Some you would never even think of. Scattered everywhere.
The liquor store is demolished. There's liquor everywhere, beer, cigarettes.
There would soon be people there.
Hey, good morning, South Texas. My photographer Rich and I are currently following Port Aransas PD into Port Aransas since they were evacuated. So this is the first time since they've been evacuated that we're actually going back to Port A. Follow us on our live stream.
And I got a buddy in there that said, just told me to be prepared, man.
Coming back to see for themselves all of the damage.
There's large parts of the town that are missing. You know, they're just missing, they're gone.
Trying their best to not only start cleaning up, but to keep things safe.
Trying to button up things so that the lowlives don't come in here and rip us off.
How we communicate with our local office, we can transfer data, reports, things like that. I'm gonna just go over there and...
The eye of Hurricane Harvey brought wind speeds of up to 130 miles per hour as it barreled into Port Aransas, Rockport, and Fulton.
Yeah, we saw pictures, but it just doesn't compare to seeing it up close, like in real life.
Real life, hitting hard for the hardest hits and those who just got a glancing blow.
I had a lot of downed trees. I lost a shed, 3/4 of my roof, the back porch, the underskirting, the fence fell on my car.
There are people still over there, still rebuilding. You and I are sitting here talking. We could be rebuilding. This started near Africa and missed us by that much and got the people in Port Aransas and Rockport just amazing. We're so lucky. Good luck for us, bad luck for them. Oh.
Good luck or bad luck, there was still so much work to do. And so much to be thankful for if you were in places that did not get hit too hard.
Well, we were staying at one of the hotels across the street from the station, so we experienced a little bit of the windy conditions and so forth. But, you know, here in Corpus Christi, it didn't really get too bad at all. In fact, around this station, SPID and Everhart, most of the businesses and so forth never lost power.
It seemed like the worst was over as far as the storm was concerned, but we would soon find out that was, again, wrong.
Everyone out here is in good spirits. Seems like the rain is picking back up, and I know we have the threat of the tropical storm headed back our way.
That tropical storm did not actually head back our way. Instead, it went up to Houston. Coming up, a look at the flooding there and what it did to Southeast Texas as we in the coastal bend started the recovery. We show you some of the most devastated towns and go back to see if they've healed or not. But first, Chief Meteorologist Bill Vesey reflects on something he told you during the storm.
And I learned this years ago, never thought I would use it. But I told people on TV, get in your bathtub and put a mattress over you. Save your life. It was life-threatening. couple of weeks later, I met somebody at a bank, said, we did that. We were in a mobile home, and we got in our bathtub and put a mattress over it. It was awful for a half hour, but then we were alive. Made me cry.
This is the storm that just keeps on giving, unfortunately, and it touches all of us. I have a son and a niece in Houston area. My niece is putting furniture on the second floor of her house, so this affects everybody.
It absolutely affected everybody in Southeast Texas and the Coastal Bend. After Harvey slammed our area as a Category 4 hurricane, it moved north into the Houston area as a tropical storm. The term didn't sound bad at first until it stalled and dumped endless amounts of rain. You'll remember what happened during the week after Harvey came ashore. It broke the U.S. record for rainfall from a single storm. It dumped between 15 and 60 inches of rain, leading to catastrophic and deadly flooding in Southeast Texas. The images and video were almost unimaginable, and it seemed like it would never end. Chief Meteorologist Bill Vesey says the storm stalled because there was high pressure and dense air surrounding it.
The hurricane went up there and had nowhere to go. Couldn't go this way, couldn't go this way. Just spins and spins and rains and rains. And it was so close to the coast, it's dragging all that water in from the Gulf.
Well, as the government put together the plan to help, volunteers and donations were already coming in. Some would make all the difference in the world, while others would hinder an already difficult situation. The buzz of chainsaws filling the air in the Coastal Bend. Some of the only relief from the heat coming from a hot commodity. The Bobcat controller, one of many who came down to help.
People have been helping each other, you know, the humanity down here, people taking care of each other, but they need a lot more help. You need as many volunteers as possible because there's so much trash and debris.
Help would come in the weeks and months after Hurricane Harvey from near and far.
Everybody's kind of bringing a little something to the table, and it all contributes and helps the cause.
From the unaffected and even the affected.
I understand their feelings and I understand the emotions that they're going through, but the only way to get through this is baby steps. And if you let your emotions overrun, then I don't believe that anything's going to get accomplished.
Some who lost everything still giving something anyway.
Takes to some of our senior citizens because they don't have no cars, they can't get out of their homes, so I've got to go give them something. Something's better than nothing.
Something is better than nothing, usually, until it gets to be too much.
We're having to store it outside, which means it's getting rained on. They're going to end up soiling, and we don't have the manpower.
Piles of donations would build up along with the piles of debris.
It's a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong, and it's great that everybody's doing what they can to help, but it is overwhelming.
But the people in the Coastal Bend would power along, continuing to pick up and to start to rebuild.
So we really didn't have much to think about. We just knew we had to help.
I can't tell you how thankful not only am I as the mayor, but the entire community is for the dedication and the caring that from both Citgo and Habitat for Humanity.
We would see this kind of thing over and over again, especially when it came to schools and sports. Students and athletes alike had to relocate to various schools around the area, including the Rockport Fulton Pirates, who finally returned to their school and stadium in late October.
I'm at Rockport Fulton High School, and it's just crazy to think. Almost 2 months ago, Hurricane Harvey devastated this town, and then today I'm driving out here. I see a man mowing his grass, and I know that sounds really simple, but that really shows you how far the community has come. That was the least of anybody's worries, was mowing the grass. And now Rockport, it really does seem back on their feet. Today, they had their first pep rally of the year because they're having their first home football game of the year here at Rockport tonight. The cheerleaders out here having a good time, the football team presenting to everybody, and of course the band playing as well.
A lot of us, like the majority of us, went to school in GP, and it was nice and all, but there's nothing like home.
When we opened our doors on Friday,
customer after customer said how happy they were that we were back and how they've just been so affectionate and so warm and so giving. And, you know, I mean, this business is who we are.
But some had to give up who they were, deciding to stay closed.
We're a mom and pop operation, and so we decided, you know, from year to year whether we were going to have windstorm insurance or not, and we picked a bad year to not have windstorm. Unfortunately, in the storm, it took a really big hit.
Those big hits keep coming for some in the coastal bend, from fighting insurance rate increases.
It's a lot of money to someone who's lost their home.
To boosting tourism again.
We usually have a solid 38 condos available for renters, and right now I've got 13.
Slow recovery. Some predicted right after Harvey hit.
At least a year or two.
And that man would be very right. It's already been a year, and many places are nowhere near back to being the way that they were. As the recovery continues, people are dealing with so much more than rebuilding. Both positive and negative experiences that are reshaping the coastal bend and Southeast Texas. Coming up, take a tour around Rockport and Fulton to see the progress in the towns that Harvey hit the hardest.
Well, you know, a lot of our city officials were great on cleaning up the trash, but there's still so many of us here and in the surrounding areas that are without. We're without a place to live. We're without basic necessities.
It just blew away. That is my son's room. What's left of it.
I've got a 2-year-old son, and we're due in 5 weeks. Duty calls, and these people in my neighborhood and these people in this town, they need me to be there for them, and I'm happy to be there for them.
It wasn't easy to get a hold of the many people we talked to over the past year. Many we interviewed as we were passing through. We left with no name and no contact to get a hold of them. We did, however, go back to some of the most devastated places. And what did we find? Well, continued heartache and renewed inspiration. Something you would expect 12 months after a monster.
Just wouldn't know need attention unless you're healed.
Julian Fuller is talking about sheetrocking. What made her a quasi-expert? Well, Hurricane Harvey.
You have to feel it with love.
The storm took the roof, a garage wall, and the front door off her house in Rockport.
So for all the days that Harvey was here over us, it just rained in our house.
That meant Fuller and her husband and her daughter had to get rid of everything and start over.
Oh, so that used to be a wall there.
They hired a contractor. Everything was good until it wasn't.
So it turned out that these contractors weren't good. After about 6 months of doing nothing and taking a lot of our money, we had to get a lawyer and fire them.
So they're still living in a camper.
We spent our life savings for that trailer.
Parked next to the house that was supposed to be done by now.
Almost a year later, we have walls and ceilings.
Fuller says the walls and ceilings are now her full-time job. Yes, she and her family survive, but without the conveniences many of us are used to. You know, air conditioning, a stove. But they have had volunteers.
A lot of volunteers come into Rockport, which we're blessed for.
Volunteers whom Fuller has taught sheetrock.
And so the next crew that was in here, I was able to form in them.
And slowly but surely, Fuller says, things will get better. It's that kind of attitude that permeates the coastal bend, especially in Rockport Fulton, where the eye of Hurricane Harvey hit.
The idea of giving up on Rockport Fulton and leaving never entered our mind.
Deirdre Sorello and Lowell Rothschild are talking about their shop. What did not get in the way of their upcoming opening? Hurricane Harvey.
We just felt like this is the time to make the investments. The community is going to come back from Harvey. There's no doubt in our mind about that.
The storm hit 2 weeks before the groundbreaking for their shop in Rockport.
There's still a little to do.
But it wouldn't stop the progress. The event went on as planned.
But I think what we brought was a little normalcy, right? It was a bit of return to this is what we were doing before Harvey. We were doing groundbreakings and openings, and gosh darn it, we're going to do it now.
And they did do it. They say they will be opening up by September and are thanking the community for helping.
You know, the support that we get from people is, it's hard to actually put into words how much it has meant to us and has helped us through the process, you know, so much. So we just, we're open for business here in Rockport Fulton, so
So come on down.
So come on down.
That's the message realtor Karen Mella is trying to get out.
Things we love about Rockport Fulton didn't blow away with Hurricane Harvey.
But as she took us on a tour of Rockport Fulton, she didn't mince words.
You know, there was a property here, it's gone.
Property's gone for good. Buildings still under construction.
Having a dumpster in your front yard is kind of normal after the storm.
Mella says this normal, though, is still much better than the normal people had to get used to over the past year. The debris, mostly gone, and tourists are slowly coming back. So as she and everyone else in Rockport and Fulton continue to recover, they want to stay positive, but not forget about the negative.
There's a fine line between telling everybody, hey, we're open for business and we're here. Well, you don't want to send the message that we don't need your help anymore, because we do.
And they hope it does keep coming. A year sounds long, but it's such a short amount of time to recover, to get back to the way it was. Maybe it will never be the same. That statement scares some and inspires others. Coming up, hear a song one man wrote about Harvey, and meet one couple who were able to transform something ugly into something beautiful.
We knew that we would do it. We knew that we would figure it out. We didn't know how yet, but we knew we were going to make it. I think the hardest part was seeing our neighbors just sitting on the porch where the house is gone and not moving for like a week or 2 weeks, and seeing other people just drink and drink and drink and not be able to get up. And that was what really gave us the heart to do something different.
Like, I didn't know what a hurricane evacuation was, so my mom was telling me about evacuation. I was like, okay. She's like, pack something last for a week. So I got to figure out which guitar I was going to take, so I probably chose Luna over my old one.
Well, sometimes you have to take a negative situation and make it a positive one. We found so many examples of that across the coastal bend and southeast Texas. Finally tonight, we introduce you to some artists and a singer-songwriter who have taken Harvey and transformed the storm into something both reminiscent and touching. Strumming on his guitar,
there's the sound of the ocean,
and singing his lyrics,
raging like the wind.
Jonathan Carmody tells the story of Hurricane Harvey.
Promise.
I probably wrote it in probably like a day.
A day to construct this song, a little less than it took for Hurricane Harvey to deconstruct so many lives.
I think it would have been easier had the trailer blown away.
Yeah, in some ways it would have been a lot easier.
Because the emotional part of having to go through and gut it.
Difficult is an understatement, probably. But a good word to describe the situation that Jess and Reed Richardson in Rockport refuse to let define them.
We knew that we would figure it out. We didn't know how yet.
They did make it, as you can see, but not only because they had to, but because they were inspired to.
There's a church across the street that just started gutting, and they were gutting the building, and they had this big pile of debris. So we just started taking debris and making things that were significant in what we had been through to help people find joy.
Signs, platters, so many things that they sell even on social media.
I feel like there's a lot of movement happening, and I love showcasing our artisan stuff.
Adding to the art they had created before the storm and were dedicated to continue making afterward.
When we started building benches for people to sit on when they had nothing, when the hot sun is beating down on them after the trees have been ripped away and their houses are demolished, it spoke to people.
It's those same people Carmody sings and plays about in his song about Harvey.
Blow in my face.
A people who will continue on because that's what they have to do, will do, and want to do.
It could become an entirely different town, and it could be the best town in America. But it's not going to be the same town, and it's not going to recover because it's never going to be the same place.
Right. So what now? Well, I guess we will have to find out. But we survived a year, and will do it again. The reconstruction, the rebuilding, the rehabilitation, it will all continue. Thank you so much for joining me for this special Hurricane Harvey 1 year later. For 3 News, I'm Mackenzie Henderson.